Cutshaw is a high-achieving global business, legal, academic, and NGO executive with an experience leading people, causes, global initiative with a 30-year career. Demonstrated ability to visualize and execute strategies that deliver results. Adept at serving people and clients. Proven leader who engages team leaders and challenges them to achieve common goals. Leverage global perspective and best practices for thought leader and operational excellence. Ken has made significant accomplishments in business law, hospitality, academia, NGOs, and government. Ken has functioned in leadership positions from the C-suite to the boardroom. Ken has served as president of companies in multiple industries, including legal and hospitality. He was partnered with an AM law firm where his practice focused on international and government transactions. He taught business and law courses at 6 universities over 3 decades. He was a participant in the restructuring of export control policies after the dissolution of the Soviet Union while serving as appointed senior executive with the US government. Cutshaw was an executive of a world exposition and co-founder of a post-Soviet private university in the country of Georgia, where he served as its first law dean. Ken has excelled in a wide spectrum of leadership environment, demonstrating a work ethics gained in his youth from his family business. These assignments have included management, law partnership, scholarly teaching and publishing, entrepreneurial ventures, government NGO leadership, political management, and foreign policy. Ken is a member of the Rotary Club of All Nations and the Future Treasurer. Rotarians and guests, let us give a warm welcome to Ken Cutshaw.
Thank you, Georgia, and thank you, Mark, for asking me to do this. I know when Mark asked me to do this a few months ago, I just blurted out, well, I'll talk about NGOs, because I've sat on 2 boards up in Washington, D.C., both NGOs for the last 30 years, and I felt like, well, I probably knew a lot about NGOs, but you know, it always takes someone to have to think about it and talk about it to really dig a little deeper and learn new facts about what NGOs are. So obviously we all know what it stands for, but I'm even going to correct that definition based on a little bit of research. But according to the Global Journal, there's an estimated 10 million NGOs around the world, especially based upon the United Nations definition. There's approximately, in 2020, there's approximately about 1.5 billion people engaged in donating money to NGOs. They estimate by 2030, another 10 years, that should go up to about 2.5 billion people based on the population of the world. You've got about 25% of the world contributing to NGOs around the world. The UN, according to the Article 171 of the United Nations Charter, says an NGO is any kind of organization provided it is independent from government influence and not for profit. So technically the Rotary International falls under the NGO definition under the United Nations. So just FYI, that's one reason why they're so broadly. I was always thinking NGOs, particularly the last 30 years, as being those groups in Washington, D.C. that do a lot of good things with government money, but are not, you know, managed or controlled by the U.S. government. But it's much, much broader than that. What's interesting, though, is some of the women listing, 3 out of 4 of the NGO employees around the world, this according to the HR Council, are female, but unfortunately, still the majority of the leadership falls within the men's category of NGOs. In Australia, up to 8% of the workforce works in NGOs in the country. And also in India, I was shocked by this, 3.3 million NGOs function in India. And basically 1 out of every 500 people are engaged in an NGO in India. So, and then in Europe, there's 129,000 public benefit organizations that fall within the NGO category. Canada there's about the average contribution in Canada to NGOs is $446 per person. So they really take it seriously. And Canada is one of the sponsors of this group that I'm going to talk about today, because they're very engaged with what we do as well. And and this is a shocker, 1 out of every 10 people in the U.S. It works in some kind of NGO-related organization. So 10% of the U.S. is engaged in NGO employment. And I found if you put all the economic wealth, or let's say economics around the NGO industry, if you combine it all, according to Johns Hopkins, it'd be the 5th largest economy in the world. So it's quite impactful, NGOs around the world. And to wrap it up, in the U.S., there's 1.5 million NGOs in the United States. So representing about 5% of the gross GDP. So Mark, if you could share my screen, I'm going to kick it off from there, or share your screen, so I could kick into the slide. I can't hear you.
Mark, you're on mute.
Okay,